Welcome to our brief overview of assessment. As stated in our course shell, this class requires us to introduce assessment in the learning environment, but it will be covered more fully in curriculum assessment and quality improvement. Knowing that you all bring a diverse range of experiences to our classroom, this presentation is for those who are just beginning to learn about and study the topic of assessment. It is also for those who may need a refresher on assessment and how it can be used in the classroom. So let's begin. I appreciate the visual on this page because I think it demonstrates the important connection between teaching, learning, and assessment. Assessment is a true part of teaching and learning. When you set out to instruct, facilitate, or train, you must make sure that the learners are clear on the goals and objectives they are expected to achieve. These goals and objectives, in turn, are measured by the assessments you create or use in your specific teaching or learning setting. Finally, as the teacher, instructor, or facilitator, you must then create learning opportunities and activities that will prepare the learner to meet the goals and objectives as measured via these assessments. Now, I also would like to share a little bit about Bloom's taxonomy if you are not currently familiar with it. It is an effective tool for setting clear goals and objectives, as well as influencing assessment design and learning opportunities. The levels of Bloom's, which include remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, allow the instructor-facilitator the means to focus on skills and knowledge that range from basic recall to implementing new ideas to making judgments and synthesizing information. I encourage you to conduct more research on Bloom's taxonomy and how it can be applicable to your instruction or facilitation. Though there is an immense amount of information regarding assessment, for the purposes of this presentation, I would like to focus on two main categories of assessment: summative and formative. Summative assessment is more traditional and what most of us have experienced based on our past learning experiences. The purpose of summative assessment is the assessment of learning. Traditional paper and pencil tests or examinations, which are entrenched in the American school system, most often come after instruction with the purpose of measuring what has been learned. These assessments, which can include statewide accountability tests, chapter tests, final examinations, reports, etc., are used to provide grades and/or rank the learner. Formative assessments, on the other hand, are used for learning. What this means is that instructors or facilitators will implement assessments in order to collect data that will help guide and/or modify instruction. This is more real-time assessment. Formative assessments allow for opportunities to provide corrective feedback, and they enhance learner motivation. Formative assessments are usually not graded, or if they are scored in some way, the scores should not contribute to the overall grade. There are a myriad of examples of formative assessment, which can be as simple as a thumbs up, thumbs down to indicate I do or don't understand, to the use of student response systems like clickers or Kahoot!It. Formative assessment is a powerful tool in the learning environment if used correctly. As you gain more knowledge and skills regarding assessment, your goal will be to know the purpose of assessment and think about how to use it effectively for your specific learning environment. Assessment can be used throughout all types of instruction or facilitation. More often than not, you should start with some type of initial data gathering or pre-assessment in order to determine what your learners know, as well as the background knowledge, skills, and experiences they bring to the learning environment. Throughout instruction, Formative assessment will allow the learner to reflect, regulate, modify, and control his or her learning. There is also great opportunity for you as the instructor or facilitator to gauge the process of learning for the learners or participants. Finally, you will likely use some type of summative assessment to collect final data and determine whether or not the learner has met the goals and objectives you have set forth. Assessment is a valuable tool in the learning environment and can actually be a learning tool. It is important to remember that multiple assessments can be used for multiple purposes. This slide covers some other assessment terms that you may want to examine if time allows. Performance-based assessment offers the learner a chance to go beyond measurement of low-level knowledge and understanding by asking them to perform the skill or to create a product in order to assess goals and/or objectives. Authentic assessment typically requires students to perform in ways that are valued outside of the classroom. These are more real-life projects. Other ideas for you to research include rubrics and backward design, which will be covered in curriculum assessment and quality improvement. I also encourage you to research the variety of formative assessments available and see which ones best fit your area of work. You can also examine classroom assessment techniques, or CATs, which are specific strategies that are non-graded, anonymous in-class activities designed to give you and the learner useful feedback regarding the teaching and learning process as it is happening. Thank you for taking time to listen to this brief lecture on assessment. I hope you have found it informative and helpful as you begin to think of this process regarding your current and future work. We will continue our work on this topic in the future, but if you have any questions now, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.